So, welcome back to another video. Basically, I kind of had this revelation this morning. I don't think we actually know how to talk to one another. I don't think people actually know what it's like to communicate anymore, especially in like common places like the grocery store, libraries, and the sidewalk, out in public type thing. And, just kind of just want to talk about that today. I've been thinking about it a bit. So, what sort of brought this to my, sort of made me want to make this video, the exigence from my EP Lang students out there, was just like I was walking home from the gym today, right? And I see someone running down the street, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's just another person running. I was gonna just zone in, keep staring at what I was like, probably just staring at the sidewalk and just keep walking, right? And they come closer, and I'm like, oh shit, that's one of my boys from school. That's like one of my classmates. And so, I give him a fist bump. I'm like, yo, what's up? How's it going? He keeps running. He's just like, hey man, what's up? What's up? Like just the normal like, what's up, man? What's up, man? Like that type of exchange. And I keep walking home, and then I was thinking about it a bit later today, and I'm like, I almost never have those types of interactions with like joggers and just people walking down the sidewalk. Like usually what it is like they're walking down the sidewalk and I'm just looking straight ahead, or like I'm looking off somewhere. Like I'm not trying to really talk to them. I don't know why. I think it's just like it's seen as almost awkward a little bit to acknowledge someone's presence like that. But the thing is, it's like it's more awkward to not do that, And I think that's a big change that I sort of realized today, and I think it's something that I need to start implementing a lot more. And I think it's very beneficial for you as well to implement it. I look at it as people are supposed to be interacting with one another. People are supposed to be talking. When you're in a common space with someone else, you're supposed to like acknowledge their existence. It's more awkward to just ignore them. It's more awkward to act like they don't exist. It's more awkward to act like, oh, we're just two people in the same environment. I'm just going to do my business, you do yours. There's a level of like, okay, we can just go about our way, but that comes after you at least give them like a simple hey, hello, how are you. Like, it doesn't have to be like in depth. You don't have to talk about your life story, but I think it's essential that you at least acknowledge them instead of just staring and like staring away from them, or just continuing with whatever you were doing without acknowledging them. I find that to be much more awkward. And I like to think of it as like the like old man analogy, because I can't remember exactly when, but I know a lot of times in my life where I'd be minding my own business, doing my own thing, and there's this like elderly man that comes up to me and just talks to me about whatever I'm doing. I remember this one time I was in the locker room. I was checking my weight before a tournament, or before like weigh-ins for a tournament, and the man's talking to me. He's like, and this like elderly man comes up to me. He's like, oh, what you weighing up for? And I'm like, oh, I got a wrestling tournament coming up. And he's like, oh, really? He just starts talking about, his past with it, or maybe not like his past with wrestling itself, but he just talks about wrestling in general, and like, the dedication and discipline it takes for that sport. I ain't gonna lie, low-key kind of boosted my ego a bit. It made me feel pretty good. But there was another example I remember in the gym a while back. What was it? I was squatting or whatever, right? And this guy, he didn't come up to me while I was squatting. So I was squatting, and I go out, I finish my sets and everything. I go get some water, and I come back, and I'm doing calf raises now. And this man comes up to me, and he's talking about how when I was squatting, my form was off because I wasn't going deep enough. And he was talking to me about, hey, you want to make sure that you prioritize your form over the weight, like how much weight you're actually doing. And that was a good conversation to have. And then we started talking for like a long ass time about like random stuff. Like we started talking about like I think somehow my sport got brought up, and I was like, yeah, I wrestle. And he was just like, oh, and he started talking about his past with it. Oh yeah, I got third in the state. Back in my day, I still got my medals and everything. And he was talking about like how he just had to be like really strong and stuff, and that's how he got into powerlifting. And then now he was like a professional, not like, well, he was a professional, but now he's more of like a retired powerlifter. And we just spun into this long conversation for a while, and he was just talking about whatever it was he was talking about. As an elderly man, or as like a older man, you just talk because you feel like it. I see this a lot with my dad as well. He just kind of just talks to people, makes small talk with like, if we're waiting in line for a while, he'll start talking to someone behind him, he'll start talking to someone in front of him. I always thought it was kind of weird and kind of awkward, like, yo, just leave them alone. But honestly, I'm actually really, I think that's a really good trait to have. I think that's a really admirable thing to do. And that's actually something I want to implement a bit more. I'll see you like with one of my friends in school. He just talks to everyone. Like he'll be walking through the library or whatever, and he just starts chopping it up with anyone he sees. It'll be someone completely random he doesn't know. He just if he locks eye contact with you for 1 second, he's gonna be like, "Hey, what's up?" Or like just something like. And I look at that and I'm like, "Damn, I want that. I want that type of like social presence, that social fluidity to just constantly flow through like a group of people and just like acknowledge them and talk to them a little bit and just be acquainted with them in a way. I just find that really admirable. I think that's really cool. This all goes back to how as people we are supposed to be social. We are social creatures. We are supposed to acknowledge each other and we are supposed to work in like a community or like a tribe almost. And so this practice of just saying hi or just acknowledging someone, like even something as small as just locking eye contact, giving like a little head nod or like one of these, or just like smiling, waving a little bit, just like one of those. That's still really good at acknowledging and at least bringing people more together, making a more sense, like making a greater sense of community, greater sense of belonging to people that you see every day. I like to think of this example that I heard in a video a while ago. It was basically that modern day suburbs and cities, the way they've been made is that you can see someone's house, you can look into someone's house, that's how close you guys live, but you do not know them. You don't know much about them. And I can say that for myself. Like I've seen a lot of my neighbors who, it's kind of because they've been like, there's a lot of neighbors like moving in and out, whatever. But like, I know a lot of them that I can see their house right now, but I don't really know them. And I think that's kind of like, it's like a two-way type of situation because sure, you can try to talk to them, but if they don't want to talk to you, then that's a thing. But I feel like it's also like, if you assume that people want to have a conversation, because if you do this long enough, or you have this done to you where someone comes up to you and they acknowledge you, say, hey, how's it going, like a complete stranger, then you realize that experience like sticks with you and you enjoy those types of experiences. And so I think it's very important that you, like when you're going outside for a walk, like I said in my last video, and that brings me to another point which I'll go over shortly, but like when you go out for a walk or you're out in your neighborhood or whatever, I think it's good that you like say hey, hello to people that you see walking by and just acknowledge the people that you see nearby. Back to the point that I almost brought up. During the summer, I did this thing where I would always go out for a walk every morning. It was just the most peaceful, enjoyable thing for me. Just, it was like a morning, I just woke up, wash my face, brush my teeth, and get all cleaned up, whatever. And I just get my earbuds, and go outside, go for a walk, and just enjoy nature for like an hour. It was great. Great time in the summer. I had this sort of rule of thumb that I followed, which was like, if I was ever walking and someone walked up by me, like let's say on the sidewalk, let's say I know a lot of times there was like a lady walking her dog or a lady with her child in like a stroller and they were just like walking down the street or whatever, I would just take out my earbuds, try to say hello, try and have a little exchange, and that'd be my goal every time to make, like, if I walked past 7 people, I would try to make it so I did that at least 7 times. Of course, I never always did. Sometimes I'd be caught off guard. Sometimes it was kind of quick. Sometimes we'd be walking on like this side. I'd be on this side of the street. They'd be on this side, and there was a road in between, so I couldn't really converse with them. But I try to as much as possible to acknowledge someone in the same vicinity as me, and I think that's a good practice to have, and I highly recommend you guys do that too. And that's actually something that I'm gonna try to implement moving forward now a lot more. Is simply just acknowledging people in my area, saying what's up, saying hello. A lot of this is on the top, on like in a concept of presence, in a concept of being in a flow state, like a social flow state. Anytime you're outside, these are things that you get better at as you practice more of, whether it be with meditation, whether it be through just disciplined activities, not multitasking, just sort of building your focus and your presence. So in order to build these types of skills, you need to just practice meditation. I'd say meditating is a big thing. And just overall in your life, you want to be very attentive to what you're doing. Where are you? What's going on around you? What do you feel? What do you smell, see? Like all the senses, all those things. You want to be very attentive to those things. And once you do that, you sort of start to realize and get out of your own head a lot. And you stop constantly thinking, constantly having anxious thoughts about what do I do with this? What do I do with that? Should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? It doesn't matter anymore. You're now in like a flow state. You're now like totally present. You are constantly absorbing the area around you, and you are acting based off of what happens at the current moment and not just what your mind perceives to be the current moment. And you're actually just totally present, totally focused on the moment. And I think that's a great and very powerful thing to have, as that puts you ahead of a lot of people, because a lot of people are very self-conscious, a lot of people are very insecure, and a lot of people are very self-absorbed, and they're always worried about what they're doing. But I feel like if you have the ability to just be present, just be focused, like open-minded, and just be able to flow with life, then that puts you ahead of a lot of people. And that also helps you with your, whether you're in a social setting, whether you're in a work setting, whether you're in a like physical setting, whether it be like fitness or sports, whatever it be. A flow state is essential and it is very key, and it can be achieved through these small actions of saying hello to someone when you walk by them, acknowledging someone, whatever it may be. Those things are huge and they are essential. So yeah, that has been it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Go outside, say hello to at least 3 people, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.